Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. This is the Community Redevelopment Agency typical meeting for Monday, March 24th at 3 p.m. Could we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Mr. Marcus Camphy. Miss Sydney Talcott. Here. Mr. Thad Mosley.
Here.
Mr. Ron Whittington. Mr. Gary Paytow.
Here.
Miss Megan Edwards. Here. Mr. Kevin Myers.
Here.
Thank you. The first item on our agenda is approval of our meeting minutes from February 24th, 2025. Are there any comments, additions, or corrections to the meeting minutes? I don't see that there are any, so with that, would you just please call the roll as to acceptance of the meeting minutes?
Yes. Could someone make a motion to approve minutes?
Thank
Move
you.
to approve.
We have a motion. Second, please.
Second.
Okay. Can we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Mr. Thad Mosley.
Yes.
Mr. Gary Paytow.
Yes.
Miss Megan Edwards. Yes. Mr. Kevin Myers.
Yes.
And Miss Sydney Talcott, you will be voting. Yes. Thank you.
Great. The next item on our agenda is courtesy of the floor to visitors, and we have one request to address us this afternoon. Mr. Curtis Loftus, if you would please step forward, give us your name, address, and you have approximately 3 minutes to address the board. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. It's Curtis Loftus, 1280 Mayport Landing Drive, Atlantic Beach, Florida, 32233. I'm here on behalf of Deck the Chairs. I'm the founder and also the executive director. I'm here with one of our board members, Kara Scrimman. What we're here to discuss, or at least share with you, there's a couple documents that first of all, thank you, by the way, for having the courtesy of the floor, allowing us to speak. We are great advocates of this city, so we appreciate this time. So there's two documents that we provided related to park enhancements, Latham Plaza. Been very involved in this process. I've been watching it. I don't want to attend all the meetings. I've actually attended one. It's been over a year, I think. But related to the park redesign and what we look at as accessibility into that space, Deck the Chairs has, one, always been an advocate of how this park gets redeveloped and maybe even better designed so that it's more inclusive. But there's also with events, and certainly this particular event that's a nighttime event that runs for about a month, and the winter weather, all these kind of things, we have noticed over the 12 seasons that how someone engages that park, how they step into it, walk through it, manage themselves is critical to the experience and also the safety. So we have elderly, a lot of elderly. We have moms, parents with strollers. We just have at times, depending, especially with programming and near Christmas, we have thousands that are in that park. And what we've been noticing with designs is this absence of sidewalk space. And so that's created some concerns and what that impact might look like on our visitors and what that experience is, what they say back to us. So really the idea is to encourage the CRA and the planners with the existing design, because this isn't about starting all over again, but seeing some way to enlarge, increase, put in another sidewalk, but look at the footprint you have and consider the thousands of people walking across that park and how they will manage it. And I think maybe a solution could be, if you think a solution is necessary, but for us, a secondary sidewalk or an additional sidewalk in that plan might help overall. So, and this was just delivered to you folks just so you had numbers. So this actually backs up what the board, and I know I'm over my time, so I appreciate just we were always guesstimating. We don't have turnstiles, so we had to do some aerial reconnaissance, kind of get a lot of numbers, and then stay in the park all the time in order to get enough numbers that we could share with partners what we think is in the park. And these numbers that Visit Jacksonville provided are strictly visitor numbers, strictly adults, no children, and not even inclusive in our hours in the park. So they would start their, for the last 3 years, they would start calculating at 5 and then finish at midnight. And now that we have daytime programming starting at 2, like Tuba Christmas and other events, we know that they're not capturing that part of the audience. And we know that our park, even though we don't promote it, stays kind of busy even after midnight. So we firmly believe the 47,000 that is during the run of Deck the Chairs is accurate for those adults. Well, of course it is. They're using the phones to ping. But we would probably add another child, one per that, each of there's a number in there that's got to be larger than 47,000. So that's our visitors. With our residents, we're confident that we're over 100,000 people in that park during the run of Deck the Chairs. So again, accessibility, safety, whatever we can do so that our visitors have a great experience. That's what we're here to just share with the CRA. And that's it. Thank you.
Appreciate your comments. Taylor, just for my information, we now have our design team working away on the design for the first phase of Latham Plaza. Do we have a meeting coming up where we're going to be taking a look at where the design team stands with their design?
No, yes and no. It's not necessarily the design. At least that phase one design was voted on and approved. So, from a design standpoint, it's pretty fine polish for that third piece of the Latham Plaza. What they're working on now are the actual construction documents, and so that'll be the engineering documents.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, you're correct. We voted on this and approved it a while back. I was just trying to get an idea where the design team stood with their documents and, whether before we put these out on the street, whether we'll have one more chance to really take a look at it. And
we'll look at the engineered documents, at least the construction documents, probably when they get to a certain percentage of substantial completion. And at that point, what the agency decides to do, we'll roll with it.
Okay. It would be good if we could get an update from the design team on
When there is one, you guys will get one.
Okay, thank you. The next item on our agenda is old business. Is there any business that any of the board members want to bring forth at this time? Previous item? No. With that, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Megan.
This is maybe off of what we were just discussing with the plan for Latham Plaza. I know when we had the joint session with the city council, there was proposals for the flow of traffic, right? Where there was going to be a potential where there was going to be sidewalk, right? And when is that supposed to be occurring? Because I know we had a few different options there. One that I think was a little more pedestrian friendly, considering the flow of traffic. Do we know when that's supposed to be coming?
No, just because of the way we ended up structuring this project to be able to kind of get some of this rolling. So phase one, for example, is basically going to be everything on this sheet from the circle to your left, with the exception of all of these perimeter sidewalks will be getting redone, and then we will be adding the additional one on the back half of the Seawalk side at that stage, just because it made sense. Beyond this phase, no, none of that's been officially formally decided upon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? None. With that, we're going to move into our agenda for this afternoon, our new business. Item A is the rejection of the fiscal 24 Jacksonville Beach Community Redevelopment Agency financial statements and independent auditors report. I'll ask Ashley, you're a step ahead of me, if you want to go ahead and present your comments and thoughts on the audit.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the CRA agency. So on your agenda today is the acceptance of the fiscal 2024 financial statements and audit for the Community Redevelopment Agency. Beginning in fiscal year 2020, redevelopment agencies were required to produce separate financial statements, even though these the same information is included within the city's annual comprehensive financial report. Because you guys are a dependent special district underneath the control of the city, the information that's in the city's financials is now separately reported in these. There should be paper copies in front of all of y'all, in addition to, I think Taylor sent you electronic copies at the end of February. Some things I wanted to call out to your attention is when the auditors presented the financial statements on March 3rd to the City Council, we received a clean or unmodified audit opinion, which is the highest level of assurance we can receive. And in this handout that y'all have, on the second page of the financial highlights of the CRA, at the end of fiscal year 2024, the total fund balance was $44.6 million, all of which is restricted to projects that are either already underway or will be underway within the very near term. And it provides a pretty good summary of the information that's in the financial statements, especially on page 12, kind of documenting their change in the revenues year over year. We ended the year with some very strong investment earnings. So that was very kind of helpful in programming that into the future capital improvement projects. And I am available to answer any questions that you might have about the financial statements or audit.
Ashley, thank you. Any questions, comments from the board? I don't see any, but I do have one question. Just on page 18, it's just a little confusing. When I turn to page 18, there's a listing of projects for the downtown district and the south end district. And then it says, the first item under downtown says downtown infrastructure improvements, phase 3C, projects 4 and 5. I go down to south end district, it says exactly the same thing. I'm assuming that that's just a little bit of a typo. Or
Actually, that project is kind of the larger project of the central and south end basins. So the project 4 and 5, the basin work, the dollars amount listed under the south end are for the south end portion of the basin that's related to the south end CRA district.
so the work in the south end is actually a downtown project.
It's, as I apologize for any confusion, it was the title of the whole project, like downtown phase 3 projects 4 and 5, and a component of 4 and 5 was the basin work. So it's just distinguishing that portion that was the south end basin.
Okay. It just caught my eye when I was looking at it. I wasn't quite sure what I was seeing there.
Mm-hmm.
But first of all, thank you for the work that you've done and the fact that you've kept us out of any hot water and so forth. I appreciate everything that you've done in this audit. Really proves that we're taking a good look at where we stand financially, and I think it's maybe a challenge for us this next year based on some of the other things that are coming down the road. But
Yeah.
I appreciate what you've done. Thank you and your team.
Thank you very much.
With that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the fiscal 2024 independent auditors report.
I move that we approve the fiscal 2024 auditor's report.
I have a motion. A second, please.
Second.
We have a second. Any final comments, thoughts from anybody? No? Roll call, please.
Miss Sydney Talcott,
Approve.
Mr. Thad Mosley,
Approve.
Mr. Gary Paytow,
Yes.
Miss Megan Edwards,
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Myers.
Yes.
With that, the audit has been approved. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is to waive or enforce the penalty of $566,629.10 for the City of Jacksonville's late payment of the increment revenues to the Redevelopment Trust Fund. This is an item that just came before us, but we've gotten some of the information. Is there somebody that's going to be addressing that? Ashley, are you going to do that?
Sure. I would be happy to speak to this. According to the state statutes, the TIF monies need to be paid into the fund by January 1st. Our interpretation of that is by December 31st, because we all know the banks are closed on January 1st. We did not receive the Jacksonville portion of the monies until January 3rd, or 2nd, sorry. And in conversations with the county, it seems like it was an honest mistake. The intention was to have it there by December 31. But in reading the state statute, we do not have the administrative authority to waive the penalty. That rests with the CRA agency. And so based on our longstanding good relationship with the county, it's the recommendation of both administration and finance that the agency consider waiving this fee.
Thank you. Is anybody else going to address this afternoon? If not, any comments from the board? Thad?
Just move that we approve removing the penalty.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any comments from any of the other board members? I'd like to just say that I've been on the board for 5 years, and in the 5 years that I've been here, we've not had any issues in reference to getting the funds transferred from the taxing agencies. This looks like it was a slight error, even if you want to call it an error. Maybe we just need the banks to work on January 1st and then things would get resolved. But the City of Jacksonville has been a good partner with the City of Jacksonville Beach. And I've enjoyed working together with them and hope to continue the efforts as we move forward here in the future. The only question I have is there something from a procedural standpoint that's being put in place that would prevent this from happening again? That would just be my request, that we've thought about it and we have something in place that hopefully prevents this.
I think in conversations with the county, it's on their radar now to ensure that it's there by December 31. I can't speak directly for them, but we as staff here at the city, we send out a reminder in November confirming the amounts due. We would be happy to send another reminder in December, mid-December, if we don't see the funds.
Yeah, it might be helpful to do that, but again, City of Jacksonville has been a great partner, and I know in the years that I've been on the board here, I've not seen any issues. So thank you. We have a motion and a second, and with that, roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Ms. Sydney Talcott,
Yes.
Mr. Thad Mosley,
Yes.
Mr. Gary Paytown,
Yes.
Ms. Megan Edwards.
Beforehand, if I could just confirm with Ms. Ashley that we didn't receive any penalties or anything of that nature, or didn't have funds that we needed for a project because of the delay, right?
No, ma'am. In this instance, it was received on January 1st, so technically there's probably 1 day of interest, but it would be de minimis.
Okay. All right. Well, then, on that note, yes.
All right, Mr. Kevin Myers.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
With that, the motion has been approved. Thank you. Move on to item C. Item C is the award or rejection of the mural for the pier parking lot dumpster enclosure to the artist Lauren Close and their concept, Find Some Fun.
Yes, sir.
Do we?
I'm happy to speak to that if you would like.
If you would,
I was going to say, you're welcome to. If you want to take over on that one. No. So we received a total of off the top of my head, I think it was 18 artists with a total of 28 proposals that the art committee reviewed on Thursday at their meeting. They really pretty quickly narrowed it down to about 3 or 4. And then this one actually was one of, it may have been the only, I know it was one of the only ones where every committee member at that meeting had all ranked this one almost perfect across the board. Some of the other top candidates, maybe 2 had ranked it top, 1 didn't. And the proposal, so if you guys will bear with me, I'm going to actually pull up the original because I did not realize in my agenda packet that when I had to publish this, it completely swished it. So if you guys will just bear with me just a sec, I apologize. I hate doing this in the middle of the meeting. But the committee unanimously recommends Ms. Close for. Oh, not that. No. This might be better. There we go. Much better. All right, so the piece is titled Find Some Fun, and it is quite self-explanatory on that part. It is all about finding shark's teeth with the open shark jaws will be approximately 8 feet from the teeth to so it'll be a big 8-foot opening there. The only recommendation the committee made to her, which the artist did confirm she could very easily accommodate, would be to just make sure on the jaws that they really made them extremely vibrant and really made sure that they really stood out against the color, so it almost gave a 3D effect when you're standing in front of the jaws. And then other than that, like I said, it was unanimous from the committee to recommend this piece.
Are there any thoughts or comments from the board? Sydney?
Yeah, so this is my first exposure to the Public Art Committee, and this is awesome. I love that it was a unanimous vote. I was just wondering, for context, like, is there a larger theme or approach that the committee is taking in how they select the art?
Yeah, so this was only the third mural that we've done. The first 2 were nationwide calls, so we actually used like a big national platform for those. This one, the communications manager and myself actually created the application and embedded it ourselves into the website and went off of that because we were reaching out to local only. So, and then as far as the theming goes, every piece we've done, the kind of first line, if you will, is always that the goal is to embrace the beach life. Really kind of keeping in line with that city branding. And this one was to create a photo opportunity, something that was going to catch people's attention, make them want to stop, take photos, hang out, take a look at it, and be very vibrant and eye-catching, and again, reflect the beach life. To be very candid, some artists historically and even now, they love when we leave it pretty broad because it really does offer them an opportunity to bring a lot of creative expression. I always tell the art committee I don't envy them at all. I would never want to be the one to make that decision because truly all 28 pieces were incredible. But it just, I think they have to kind of look at it from what's the most eye-catching, what's appropriate here. We didn't want something necessarily as they got to talking that was super, super, super intricate where you're going to have to really be up close and on this to see what it is because it is on First Street and it is surrounding a dumpster. So they felt this was fun and vibrant, and it also reflects sea life without being literal sea creatures. That was one thing they kind of started realizing is all of our pieces thus far have been literal animals. This is not. So that's kind of some of what led them to arrive at this decision.
Awesome, thank you. Totally makes sense, and I love the additional function of a photo opportunity, especially around a dumpster. So
Yeah.
that's cool.
Any other comments? I have just a couple of comments. When looking at this, it wasn't just this application, but in reference to all of them, and that is that unfortunately this is a dumpster enclosure. So as a dumpster enclosure, it's going to take a pretty good beating. And the question becomes, as this mural may well get beaten up a little bit from the dumpster trucks as well as the dumpsters themselves, how are we going to be able to maintain it?
So that's kind of got a two-part answer. One, murals don't have a long lifespan. I mean, that's just putting it bluntly. This is not something when we put in any mural that's going to be there for 30 years. That's just something we know. So that's kind of a reality of murals. The other end of that is where this mural is actually located. If you haven't been out to the actual enclosure itself, I encourage you to go. The only door that any of this mural touches is the actual man operated door. So our business owners across the street, when they're closing down, they're walking across the road, they unlock it, they go in, they physically put their trash in the dumpster. The side that has the massive double doors where the trucks then pull into empty, we very intentionally left that side completely out of this because we knew it would just end up getting destroyed before the rest. So, you know, we aren't really anticipating any more wear and tear on this than any of the other ones. If we see that, it will likely be because of its proximity to the wind blowing all of that salt air on it. You know, but from trucks and things like that, I don't foresee this one having any more issues than anything else.
Well, I do have some concerns in reference to that. And then you hit on the other question that I have, and that is, having been out there a little while ago, you know, they've now got up the door, they now have the doors up and so forth, and it's a pressure treated wood that's in that doorway that you see, as well as on the dumpster side. Question is, what is the artist going to do with that door? Is there something that's going to be done with that, or are we just going to leave it pressure treated, and that really takes away from the
So
whole
she's
composition?
working on that now. We talked this morning. You know, she was going to go out and kind of take a look because this is cinder block. This is very, very easy to paint versus the pressure treated door. What will likely happen is it will match the same background color, how you see kind of that turquoise with the white swirls in, and maybe a few teeth elements, but it won't be anything too elaborate because that pressure treated door is going to wear a lot faster than cinder block will. So we'll have to be very careful what we put on that. We don't want to put too many graphic details on it because it will fade fast.
So I'm sorry, we're not planning on doing anything with the door.
We potentially are. She's out there. She went out there today to take a look at the actual material of the door. When we first issued this call, it was not there. And so she is going to bring the recommendation back to us on exactly what's going to work best. But the plan is to at least have it match the same background color as the mural.
That would, yeah, I think at a minimum that would be the best thing we could do. And the same thing kind of questions is at the ends of all of the walls, whether or not that's going to be touched in some way with a similar background color, because it returns roughly 6 inches, and it would make sense to do something with that. The interior is going to be a different color, I assume.
The interior is not being painted at all.
Okay.
When the doors are shut and things are up, there's no reason to, waste the resources on the inside. And then what will be painted will be the north and south walls, and then that west-facing wall. So those 3 walls will be painted. That eastern side will be left plain. Again, just being mindful of what it's facing. That side is direct oceanfront, and that side is going to have trucks pulling up and the gates opening and closing. Those gates swing and hit that all the time, so that side will not be touched.
Yeah, it's the returns that I'm thinking about on, where the doors are, and then as the wall comes to that main gate at the front of the dumpster pad, that may need to be just touched in some way.
Okay.
But those are my comments. Any other comments from anybody? Kevin?
And maybe just a clarifying question. First off, I love it. I think it's super bright, super just fun idea for the area. So that's just general take. But then, think about kind of the strategy behind a photo opportunity. Was that discussed at all by the art committee in the sense of, do we have a shared social media hashtag or a geolocation or do we want to be in the business of offering that? Okay, can you say a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I wish our communications manager is here because I would love any opportunity to make him come down here for one of these. But something that he's been working on with all of his videos he's doing, all of his hashtags are very, Visit Jack's Beach, City of Jack's Beach. And so usually what we'll do is on one of these sides somewhere, the artist will obviously have their signature, but then we'll also put a hashtag somewhere near the jaws, whatever we decide that will be. To be completely transparent, I will not be the one that picks the hashtag. I will completely leave that to the communications department so it is consistent with the rest of our social media channels. But yes, we'll make sure we have that. So as people are there and they're tagging it, we're also able to then share those photos. It worked really well with the Cape Building mural on the side that has the sea turtle. People were hashtagging the Jack's Beach and tagging the city in it, and then we're able to frequently reshare those photos.
Thank you. That just wanted to make sure it was considered.
Yeah, absolutely.
Taylor, I guess that brings up another question from me, and that is that if we are going to make this a photo op for folks, we ought to take a look at the landscaping and so forth in front of it and how we treat that area and
Yeah,
make
very
it
carefully.
carefully and attractively. I mean, it's a challenge because if you put plants there, it's a kind of an ocean scene, and putting plants there is going to be a little bit challenging. But I would encourage us to take a good look at that and make that a really nice photo opportunity.
The plan right now is, I mean, obviously the palm trees are going to stay where they are. I give this artist a lot of credit because she incorporated them into her design, which I think helped visually help everyone kind of see how the jaws would fit there. What we will likely see between basically the edge of the sidewalk and that dumpster will be that crushed coquina shell, that white soft color, so it fits in line with everything downtown. And then it's not like it's a mulch or dirt that's going to be muddy. It looks like sand almost. And so as people are, in theory, walking up to those jaws from that sidewalk, that material is going to withstand a lot longer than some other materials. As far as plants go, that'll be something I'll kind of rely on Trevor for and his team when we're landscaping that front piece. But I don't anticipate there being apparently my watch wants to be involved in the meeting as well. But I don't anticipate there being a lot of vegetation here just because I think if we do that and we're asking people to come walk in front of us and take a photo, but then we're putting plants there, either nobody's going to want to take pictures with it or they're going to kill all the plants that we put in by stepping on them. So I will definitely rely on the Parks Department to help us with that. What's an appropriate balance?
Yeah, I hope we put a plan together and do that as quickly as that mural is done. Yeah. I'll entertain a motion in reference to approval or rejection of this item. I'm sorry.
I wanted to make one comment.
Sorry.
It's a photo opportunity, and nowhere on the mural does it say Jacksonville Beach. And I'm not the art committee. I'll certainly go with their thoughts, but it seems interesting you'd want a photograph that doesn't say where you are. Perhaps we could put a little sign in the appropriate place so it can be picked up in the photo. Not on the mural itself necessarily if the artist doesn't want to do that, but perhaps somewhere in the field of shell and rocks in front of it or something, because it is Jacksonville Beach, and the idea is to have a photo opportunity that reflects being in Jacksonville Beach, and that mural does not say Jacksonville Beach. So maybe we can add something that would affect that. That's all. Thank you very much. And I would make a motion to approve it.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
I'm sorry.
No, we both had, Sydney had her light on, or somebody did.
That was. Did you have any comments, Sydney? I'm sorry. No? Okay. Any second on this motion?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Yep. Ms. Sydney Talcott,
Yes.
Mr. Thad Mosley,
Yes.
Mr. Gary Paytow,
Yes.
Ms. Megan Edwards,
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Myers.
Yes.
Thank you. That was.
Thank you, everybody.
Look forward to another wonderful addition to the city.
Yes.
We have one other item on our agenda, which is to accept or reject the Community Redevelopment Agency annual report for fiscal 2024. This is obviously a state requirement, and my assumption is, Taylor, you've been working away like crazy trying to get this thing done before the due date, right?
Yes. This is in accordance with 163-371 of the Florida State Statutes. We are required to always post our annual report for the previous fiscal year by March 31st. We also submit that to the taxing authority. We submit it to the state. We submit it to the FRA. And then to our own city council and to our CRA. Today, in theory, if this is approved, this will immediately then go on the website. So we are well ahead of our March 31st deadline because that is the deadline is to be on the website, as well as the annual financial report and audit that you just approved. So what you'll typically see then on the website will be this, and you'll be able to kind of scroll through this, and then attached to this at the very end is the entire audit as well. Again, it's very similar to what we did last year. It just is a little bit of an updated format. We added some new pictures. We modernized the way it looks just a little bit. The yellow color that you see, don't yell at me, it was not my decision. The communications manager has been really incorporating all of our brand colors, and the yellow is one of them. Really caught me off guard at first too. But I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys may have.
Any questions from the board? I don't see any, though I have one question for you, Taylor. When you look at page 2 is the listing of personnel that provide services to the CRA. I'm not sure if it's timing, but it looks like there are 2 positions that aren't identified in that list. One is the construction project superintendent, and then the construction coordinator, which are listed in the fiscal 25 business plan. So I didn't know if that needed to be in this report.
So this is for the year prior to fiscal 25. So when I bring this to you guys next March, you will see those in that report.
You'll see those added at that time. Okay.
And this one is a little complicated because and to be fair, it throws me off as well because I'm having to work with everything is basically a year behind that I'm working with. So I'm day to day working in real time projects. But then when I'm doing this, I'm having to go back usually over a year and start pulling that data. So you will see both of those in next year's annual report.
I couldn't remember exactly when particularly the approval for the, I think it was the construction superintendent we did this past year, and I thought it might specifically fall into that category. So appreciate that.
Of course.
Thank you for all the work and effort in putting this together. I know this is a challenge and takes quite a bit of time, and I'll have to say that since I've been on the board, marked improvements in the quality of what we're producing, and truly appreciate that. And I think it reflects well on everybody, but we have you to thank for the effort in putting this together. So thank you. With that, I'll entertain a motion to approve or reject the annual report.
I'll make a motion to approve the annual report for 2024 for the Community Redevelopment Agency.
We have a motion, a second.
Second that.
We have a second. Any final comments? Roll call, please.
Miss Sydney Talcott? Mr. Thad Mosley?
Yes, please.
Mr. Gary Paytow?
Yes.
Miss Megan Edwards?
Yes.
Mr. Kevin Myers?
Yes.
Thank you. Last is items for discussion, and I guess I'd like to just ask the question, is there any update on legislative session, and particularly House Bill 991 and
Don't
Senate
do
Bill?
this to me. No. There is no official update out of the House and Senate. I can confidently say that. On the House side, things have strangely enough kind of just moved right along. On the Senate side, it has not made it through the first committee review that we've seen thus far. Our city council and administration and staff members are actually in Tallahassee right now, and they will be in Tallahassee this week. That is obviously one of the things. It's the top of my list. It is on everybody else's list. We've all got several things. I think we actually have a spreadsheet that's like 10 pages long, and it's nothing but bills that we're following that really affect city functions. But we do anticipate seeing some major updates on that here in the coming weeks, and as soon as we have any additional updates, you guys will be immediately notified. I know that there was a couple of days there where I was rapid firing off, like it seemed like every hour. Since then, there just unfortunately haven't been any substantial changes, so probably went from like overkill to nothing. But as soon as I have some substantial updates, you guys will know.
Thank you. I hadn't seen anything either. It seemed like it gotten very quiet all of a sudden, and that even concerned me more than seeing all the emails that we were seeing. But knock on wood, and hopefully, we're all taking a look at these two bills and making appropriate comments to our state legislators.
Yes.
So
I think everybody has, so I appreciate all of you guys also helping with that and being receptive, like I said, to all my crazy rapid fire emails to you. I appreciate the help.
thank you. Does anybody on the board have any comments, items that they want to bring up at this time? If not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chair, can I tell you guys really quick? I promise I'll leave you alone after this.
Okay.
If that's okay, I just have, and I'll hand these out to everyone. There's just a couple of council meetings coming up. And a couple of events I just want to make everybody aware of. April 7th, council is looking at the dumpster enclosure mural that you guys approved. They will tentatively approve that or reject that. They're also going to be discussing the official, that rebrand will be voted on as well at that meeting. On the 31st, there is a council briefing. They're going to be discussing that life-saving station brand at that briefing, as well as the stormwater rates. And then on April 14th, that'll be a very interesting briefing. It's actually a whole emergency operations and emergency management briefing. So it'll be PD and fire and ocean rescue. And then upcoming events on the 29th of this month is the Women's Wellness Fest. That is in Latham Plaza at 10 a.m. On April 15th, we're having yoga out on the lawn again, which is really cool, from 6 to 7. And then on the 27th, which our artist has said, in theory, if council approves it on the 7th, she will be done by this date. That will be opening of the Beaches Parade. So in theory, as long as we don't have any super crazy delays, we will have our mural completed by the parade.
Do we have a scheduled workshop for mid-April?
We have one tentatively right now for April, let's see if I can do this in my head, 16th. It's the Wednesday. And we are tentative on that just because we actually have an outside group potentially coming to talk to you guys about that, and we want to confirm with them before we send the notice to you. But I anticipate we will know one way or the other this week, and we'll let you guys know.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Just wanted to kind of make everybody aware that that may be coming down the road. Any further comments? Again, motion for adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
With that,